So we're going to link Danielle and Irma. So first, Danielle states that in minority states, their votes won't count as much because of the state they live in. But my partner actually wasn't speaking about states, but the individual votes of the whole nation, not individual states. And what Irma said is, so even if we have to deal with it, quote, that Donald Trump won, it's difficult to trust the Electoral College because there's a risk for faithless electors and there's a failure to accurately reflect the national popular will. So the risk of faithless electors, this is from the Electoral College, pros and cons. And opponents of the Electoral College system also point that the risk of so-called faithless electors. A faithless elector is one who is pledged to vote for his party's candidate for president, but nevertheless votes of another candidate. There have been 7 such electors in this century, and as recently as 1988, when a Democrat elector in the state of West Virginia cast his vote for Lloyd Bentsen for president and Michael Dukakis for vice president instead of the other way around. And 2, there is a failure to accurately reflect the national popular will. So first, the distribution of electoral votes in the college tends to overrepresent people in rural states. This is because the number of electors for each state is determined by the number of members in the House, which is more or less reflects the state's population size, plus the number of members it has in the Senate, which is always true regardless of the state's population. Secondly, the winner-takes-all mechanism, whereby the presidential candidate who wins the most popular votes in the state wins all the electoral votes of the state. One effect of the mechanism is to make it extremely difficult for the third-party or independent candidates ever to make much of a showing in the Electoral College. If, for example, a third-party or independent candidate were to win the support of even as many as 25% of the voters nationwide, he might still end up with no Electoral College votes at all unless he won a plurality of votes in at least one state. And even if he managed to win a few states, his support elsewhere would not be reflected, by thus failing to accurately reflect national popular will. The argument goes, the Electoral College, reinforced a two-party system, discourages third-party or independent candidates, and therefore tends to restrict choices available to the electorate. Thank you. I hope you guys, yeah.